Hey everybody. All right, so this is like the third time I'm recording this. So hopefully this is the last time. There were some like technical issues with the recording tool I used. So so what I want to talk about today is a presentation I did on the BIM Corner podcast. And real quick, this is their website. So I met with Ignacy. He's in the middle here, and we talked about Dynamo and kind of implementing Dynamo at a firm. And the firm I work for is kind of a mid to large size firm. I think we're roughly 1,000 people. So that's to give you some context on where I'm coming from when it comes to implementing Dynamo. But anyways, they have a really cool website with a lot of cool articles worth checking out. So definitely check that out. And the link to this page will be in the description below. So something in this presentation that I want to talk about is something I think I didn't really highlight very well in the conversation I had with Ignacy. And if you want to listen to that whole presentation, definitely check that out. I'll also link that below as well. But I just want to focus on kind of one piece in this. And I guess before I look at it, the gist of this presentation is kind of like implementing Dynamo, setting the foundation, integrating that within teams, and then using data to make more, make better decisions with what we do when it comes to Dynamo. So trying to take a journey through what that looks like at my current firm. And so if you want to check it out, just check the link below. But the thing I want to focus on, and I think is probably the most important thing, is creating an environment for your designers, for your engineers, for all the different team members that may not be the ones jumping into Dynamo. Sometimes that's different depending on the firm, but creating an environment that allows them to create stuff quickly and then gives them the ability to quickly share those things as well. So lowering the barrier to use Dynamo. I think that's really important, more than trying to scale individual Dynamo scripts, which is something I talked about here. And that's kind of down here where I talk about how we're approaching that. But creating an environment, and that's through like the settings and doing that very simple stuff, I think makes a big difference. And then obviously there's the other piece of it, which is the people side of it, and that's talking with people, empowering them, sharing knowledge about these tools, and then getting them in there. Because Dynamo, in my opinion, is a great tool for like custom solutions for your projects or even project types. And if you create an environment where somebody can create something quickly for their project, then at least at a smaller scale, they can easily share those things with other team members. And it should scale pretty okay in a smaller group. And so that's one of the big negatives of Dynamo, is just that it doesn't scale very well, and it's a bit finicky, and it has issues. And we have an environment where it's pretty stable, even with our scripts that we use across the entire firm. But again, the focus for at least what I'm trying to do here is just setting up an environment for like your folks that aren't necessarily the advanced users but want to use this tool. Because by doing that, it just makes it easier for them to create things, share things, and for you to help them if they need the help, because they're using kind of a common environment. So to achieve this, one way we go about it is that we use a bat file that will update the settings. And so if I scroll down, you'll see here, there's a settings file that we update. And so that's just your typical Dynamo settings file that's with any deployment of Dynamo. You'll see that you can modify that and add, say, extra folder paths for your packages. And you can do a similar thing for, your Dynamo player settings as well, which is something I also talked about in here, because we do that as well. Map that. Now, this isn't, I want to mention this because I think this is important. This isn't to limit what people can do with Dynamo. They can still add other packages. So if we scroll down and look at this image, they can still add packages here if they want. They can even reorder these if they want. But if they keep that top one as the main one and then kind of keep their others cleaned up, then when they build a Dynamo script and they create one that uses packages, they can then easily share that with another team member. And we also have an internal library as well. So if they use any of our internal stuff that we've built, then they can easily share that with other team members also. And when it comes to any kind of tools that you try to deploy, making sure that the low barrier stuff is taken care of just means that there's going to be a better adoption rate. Like, you're not going to have as many people that pick something up, run into the issue, and then drop it because they're just tired of dealing with the problems. So that piece of it, I think, is sometimes not talked about. Like on LinkedIn, it's always about the scripts and scaling them, and not so much about the individuals that we're trying to get using this tool and creating an environment that's somewhat stable and allows them to do that. The second part to this, so we've got the bat script that will update the settings, so we can add the packages, which is what you see here, so we can add that package to it. We use kind of a Windows like group policy, so, and that's handled by IT, but there are various ways you could go about this. So that's just one option, but you can do it in various ways. The other part of this is how we organize our packages. So if you see, this is actually, so it says package 22. We've got a 23 folder. We've also got others. It's just not listed here. The reason why that is for stability reasons. Like our internal package that we manage, it may have differences between the 22, 23 version because of API changes, or maybe some other thing that those are some other library those are using. And so by doing that, it just kind of, again, helps create an environment of stability, of consistency for everybody that's using it. And so also what's helpful is if you're using third-party packages, sometimes they will push out multiple versions of their package for different versions of Revit or Dynamo. And that's not always the case, and there is more management, required by the person that's managing the packages, but it's like economy of scale. That little bit of work they're doing is helping hundreds of other people. So I think it's really important to do that. But again, that kind of just, this package structure and adding that settings to everybody's Dynamo just helps with just consistency and stability. And so again, if they build something that uses any of the packages that are out there, they can easily share it with other team members. And that's something that's really cool, I think, because at least, and I'm speaking from like my perspective of like being a Dynamo person that's done a lot of developments for people, the conversations you can have when somebody else also knows the tools can be so much better, and you can do a lot more. Now you've got multiple designers that are spinning things up in their own projects and automating things, and maybe now you have more time to focus on bigger applications or whatever. So I think there's a lot of value just in doing this, creating this type of environment. And this isn't just for these types of tools. It could be for PyRevit. It could be for other development environments as well. Creating something that's easy and stable and easy for people to share things in. I think that's important. But I've seen it firsthand. Like, we'll have people develop stuff, they'll share it. I can easily open it too. So if I need to help, I can take the script, open it, and immediately start modifying it and then fixing things if I need to, and then I send it back, and then they have it. Or I just save it wherever it's at, and then they can open it and they don't have any problems. So, that's kind of the big pieces to this. Something else I just wanted to point out was the script and package management. So we use this Python script. I wrote it in Jupyter Notebook, but all it does is it dumps out an Excel document that has the file path year Dynamo version, and then kind of the rest of the stuff you see here. So the description, Python engine, all of that. And it just helps with managing all of our stuff. And then we can take that information, parse it into a Power BI dashboard, and easily see, well, that's just another view of what we're trying to see, but you could easily see, all the packages or the most common use ones. You could also do that in Excel or even use Python to do a similar thing. But this can help you manage a large library of scripts. And this isn't necessarily going to help you parse like all the scripts that are on people's machines. And so there's limitations to this. Now, if you have access to that, then you could. And the only reason we use this is to mostly limit kind of how many packages we have. And that's only because when you have a bunch, and this isn't for all environments, but and it kind of depends on your infrastructure, but we have a lot of packages, and that can cause open times to be slower in Dynamo, can cause other issues. And so we try to lean it up, and we try to use packages that kind of complement other packages or complement our environment, because they have things in there that aren't in there natively. So and then for you to track like that same thing, so that who out there, because the last thing you want to do is delete a package that a bunch of people are using and you don't know it. So that's where tools like BIM Beats, there's other logging tools out there, can help parse and pull that information. We don't use that mostly because we don't have a massive team of people doing Dynamo stuff, and we have we can have the conversations with folks and figure out what they're using, and that's pretty quick and easy for now. So everything I showed you, I can share this PowerPoint, I can share this Dynamo script or this Python script, and I can share this BAT script. Now, this isn't the one that we have in my firm. This is just a template version of it that I made, so you'd have to modify it. But it's an example that you could kind of start from. So I could share all of that with you guys. Just let me know. And yeah, anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, what you think about setting up an environment that encourages more people to develop things, and not so much about just people using and running scripts that you've developed and then tried to scale across an entire firm. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, if that's been successful, or what path you went down, what technical challenges you've had. So definitely comment below. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next one.